had a sort of, okay, so this is going to be anonymous, which is great. I had kind of like one of the pivotal moments in my journey around this stuff specifically happened at the second Touch and Play event I went to at Earth Dance, where I was at. They had they called it a beginner's orgy. And so it was it was like a well facilitated, play party one of the nights. It was like a 5-day long thing. And on this night they had a highly facilitated play party. And I'm at this thing and I'm like kind of walking around and I'm like, I'm in this state of feeling like I should desire something. I should be desiring to engage with all these beautiful people and, who knows what kind of configurations.
Yeah.
But I didn't really want it. I was like, I was there, but I feel like I should want these things, but I don't want these things. And like wrestling with that, feeling like I should want that. And then I just had this moment where I was just like, I would rather be dancing right now. I just would rather be dancing. And there's kind of two main kind of movement spaces. One, this play party was happening and the other one was just an open space. And I got up and I left and I went to the other space and I had it all to myself and I started dancing and I felt like a spell had been broken. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
That was kind of where I felt like I was able to, where I was like, no, this is actually what I want,
Yeah. Wow. I mean, yeah, that sounds pretty powerful. And thank you for sharing that with me. I guess kind of building off that, if you're comfortable kind of following this line a little bit more, I guess, how do you tend to navigate potential sexuality or sexual feelings if they emerge in a CI space, or how that, just kind of your relationship to that?
I feel like for me these days, it doesn't very often become generated through me.
Okay.
Because it's just not that active of a curiosity of mine anymore. And yeah, but when I feel it, kind of, when I feel someone else bringing that energy, I, for the most part, won't, I don't, it feels like an offering and I generally don't accept that offer.
Yeah.
Of going down that, like, sort of like sexual, sensual path. Whereas before I would be much more likely to do it. And now I really see it as just like a sort of like a, there's a bit of a like, have you made it past that in your practice? And if someone's coming with that energy, they haven't quite made it broken through that zone yet. And I probably won't dance with them for very long because it's not going in a place that's like interesting to me. You know what I mean? I'm much more interested in the improvisation. Like I want to not know where we're going. And so like I'm more attracted to dancing with people who want to go to that zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of dancing with my partner, and I dance with my partner, and we'll get kind of sexy with it, and it can be a lot of fun, but even there's still this element of, maybe we're in that sexy zone for a minute, but then it can kick out to a different place for a while too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but it's usually like if someone's like really bringing that vibe hard, and you can see it before you even move with someone, that like that's kind of where they're at, like that, and that's what they want.
Yeah.
And I've just, I won't see someone moving in that way and necessarily be, generating a desire to dance with that person.
Mm-hmm. So it's sounding like kind of navigating that, like the sexuality or the sexual feelings is like a, I don't know if I want to say milestone, but it's like a marker of where you're at with the practice and kind of where you've maybe elevated the practice a little bit.
I mean, for me, in my personal experience, it
Okay.
felt like that for me. I don't think it's maybe necessarily for everybody,
Okay.
Some people are just not into it from day one and find it abhorrent that people would do it. I don't personally feel that way. I understand the deconditioning that can happen within the CI space.
Yeah.
Some people never get deconditioned, and they're teachers and they're doing really fucked up shit, and there's a wrestling within the CI community of how to hold folks accountable who have been being creepy dudes for a long time.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean
it's a societal problem.
Yeah, it's like one of the, like, unfortunately, yep, I can see that. I can see how that kind of can persist and work in that space. And I guess I'm also just wondering, like, how do you kind of compare your own experiences of sexuality in a CI space versus outside of a CI space?
Well, I think it, like, CI more than anything, and why it can be so powerful is that it's a mirror. So a lot of the things that exist outside the CI space can be brought into the CI space. Are we talking globally, or are we talking about for me?
For you.
For me.
Yeah.
I think CI really transformed was part of this deeper transformation which happened with my sexuality. And I went through like a huge kickoff point was a deep investigation to CI, a decoupling of like a kind of reckoning with my sexual power. And the decoupling of physical intimacy with sexual intimacy. Yeah. So it was all kind of happening in concert. So it all, it kind of depends on at what point in the journey that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we're talking about now, I have a partner who I love, and I'm, there's no interest in me in exploring at this, sexuality within the Kantric Improv space. Or the other space outside of my partner, yeah.
Let's see. And could you tell me a little bit? You've mentioned this a bit, but if there's any more you want to add in terms of your relationship to touch before CI